Hey, I'm back. The video accidentally cut off, so I'm gonna make a part 2. So where was I? So I was talking about the kinds of women that, that show interest in me. And one of them that I was just talking about was the majority of the good-looking women between the ages of, their highest peak of value in terms of dating. A lot of them are just, they're just a little damaged. They have this mental condition where they have a hard time being vulnerable. They have certain beliefs. They've been taught certain things that get them to this mental place. And it's just not, and it's also exposure to social media and this overabundance of attention has convinced their brains to think that their value is much higher than it actually is. And I can empathize with it, putting myself in their position. They're getting all this attention and they're getting all these rewards for being at such a low value, and it's just not congruent. And it's really the men's fault for giving them that kind of attention. Women wouldn't be at the stage that they're at in terms of, their ego being so inflated if men wasn't here just pumping it up until their brains just explode all over the pavement. So I can sympathize, but the fact remains is when I'm in an environment with women and I'm met with that kind of woman that is showing me interest, I can tell they desire me without being vulnerable. They're trying to eat their cake and have it too. And a lot of people don't understand that. They're like, well, why can't I eat it and have my cake? Well, the term is referring to, you can't physically have your cake and also consume it. Because if you consume it, now you don't have the cake anymore. So that's what that saying means. You can't have two things simultaneously in this context. But so that's just what I'm met with, where I put myself in situations where I'll go to the mall, I'll go to some bars. I don't drink, I just kind of go in the, in the vicinity or whatever. I might sit down, have a water or something like that, some tonic. And I've had bartenders definitely show me interest, but they do it in a way that's just kind of gross. They're trying to indicate that they're better than me. They won't make a lot of eye contact. It's just a lot of manipulation. Giving eye contact is an indication of respect. And it's always, it's not white and black. Obviously there's aggressive forms of eye contact, but a lot of the times, especially if there's chemistry between a man and a woman, a person that is looking at the other person the most is usually in a position of less power usually indicates more, more validation seeking. They care about what the other person thinks about them. And it's a necessity for attraction, for healthy, objective attraction. A woman can't fulfill. That's why you look around and so many women are so miserable. In order for a woman to really be satisfied, she needs to be vulnerable with the man. She needs to trust them. Because what ends up happening is when a woman trusts a man and is socially emotionally bonding with them, they're allowing the other person, the man, to more or less dictate their emotions. They're able to basically control how the person feels. And a lot of people have been burnt and hurt by people, which causes their defenses to go up. And I'm not saying that's necessarily bad. It has its utility, in terms of survival, in terms of if somebody is trying to be malicious, you need to defend yourself emotionally. You have to put a barrier up. I understand that. But there are times where it's vital for you to lower that barrier. You can't build any kind of relationship if you're not vulnerable, period. And women, by large, are almost incapable of being vulnerable anymore. They're in this mindset where they feel like they have to control every aspect or they're going to be hurt. Therefore, they have to control the man. But the irony is, once they control the man loses all value in her eyes. The attraction goes straight out the window. So it doesn't work. So I find myself in a position where I need to find myself a woman. We need to find ourselves women that are capable of being vulnerable. And in terms of practical application to that, the biggest, certain things that I look for, which is based off of pattern recognition, is how the person is dressed. Is their hair colored? Do they have tattoos? Do they have all these piercings? Are they able to be respectful? Can they make eye contact? Are their insecurities leading themselves to be abusive, to behaving in a way that is very arrogant and entitled and just overall nasty? So, like I said in part 1, I put myself in a community of a church with people that have good values and just more substance than the majority of people. So that's what I've been doing. And I would definitely advise all the men listening to this to do the same. Because I've heard other content creators, men particularly, talk about we're basically in this weird transition period where there's this war with men and women, and women have the upper hand at the moment, and they have a lot of power socially, artificially, but really for their own good. Men need to stop simping. Men need to stop placating to every whim of women. Because, first of all, they don't want that. They don't like it. They only do it out of, a defense mechanism. So really they really don't know what they're doing. The majority, not speaking for all, there's a lot of, I don't know a lot, but there are very healthy young and older women. So I just have to disclose that I'm not talking about everybody. But yeah, that's where I'm at. So I'm gonna wrap up the video. Thanks for watching. If you guys have any comments, any thoughts on the matter, drop it down in the comment section. I'd love to read them. And I'll talk to you guys later.